So as I promised a little earlier, we return now to that US Senate debate over a possible strike on Syria. RT's Ghana Chichikine joins me live now from the US Capitol with the latest. So Ghana, Pentagon Chief Chuck Hagel and John Kerry have already presented their cases. What reasons did they give for striking Syria?
Well, Bill, first of all, we haven't seen much of a debate in Congress. The lawmakers' remarks and questions basically reinforced the administration's position. We hear questions like, how do we hit Assad hard enough, and why not deliver a knockout punch? And those are actual quotes from the hearing. So the administration says the strikes are not designed to change the regime in Syria. Both the Obama administration and congressional leaders have said that bombing Syria will serve to send a message to the enemies of the United States. They constantly refer to Iran and Hezbollah when arguing for an attack on Syria. Take a listen.
In regime-controlled territory. I will tell you, there are some people hoping that the United States Congress doesn't vote for this very limited request the president has put before you. Iran is hoping you look the other way. Hezbollah is hoping that isolationism will prevail. North Korea is hoping that ambivalence carries the day. They are all listening for our silence.
It seems that Washington's priority at the moment is to send a message rather than to help the Syrian people to find a way out of their crisis. The Obama administration does not have the backing of the international community. Whatever action the president takes is going to be illegal under international law. Under UN Charter, a country can use force against another country only in self-defense and or when the Security Council approves such action. So the Obama administration is trying to substitute the international community with the U.S. Congress and with a number of European allies, as well as certain members of the Arab League. Another argument that we heard from U.S. officials is that U.S. allies are in danger. They named Israel and Jordan. In the meantime, Jordan said it's not going to allow the U.S. to use its airspace for strikes on Syria. Also, the U.S. says by bombing Syria, it wants to prevent another use of chemical weapons. But the question is, how do you secure that goal by destabilizing the country even further? We have not heard answers to those questions. Also to the question, how will the bombings help the Syrian people? We hear about U.S. interests, the interests of allies, but not so much about the interests of Syrian people. Of course, once again, John Kerry stated that the evidence that the U.S. has against the Assad government is beyond doubt. John Kerry referred to the unclassified report, which offers the U.S. government's conclusions. The report does not contain actual evidence, just the administration's conclusions. And in the last few days, several members of U.S. intelligence community, spoke out saying that the evidence is not slam dunk and saying that a raw intelligence can tell all kinds of things. It's analysis that really makes all the difference. The question that was not asked during this hearing in Congress was, why would the Assad government carry out an attack of that scale at a time when A, UN inspectors have just arrived in the country, and B, at a time when the Assad government was making gains anyway? Why would they set themselves up by using chemical weapons? Conventional weapons, after all, have killed way more people. Those questions were never asked.
RT's Ghana Chichikine live from Washington, D.C. Thanks very much indeed for that assessment of that debate ongoing there in Washington. Now to other news.